It's TK Irish at the Camp Kennerk podcast. And boy, we got something to talk about today. You know, everyone loves to point fingers at governments all over the world for what they do, what they don't do, what they should have done. So let's be real. History is an absolute train wreck. And the funniest part is governments is always the one driving the train. From the ancient face plants to the modern day blunders of so spectacular they deserve an award. And what we're going to do is we're going to count down today some of the most spectacular government uh, issues that or accidents that actually made it become the most popular comedians laugh. So, you know, the full body cringe when you see a politician screw up is just a magnificently dumb. It's funnier than a stand-up comic, and it makes you wonder if the cockpit is even full. So it's like trying to steer through a hurricane, but instead confidently steer everybody through a shortcut through a hurricane. But it doesn't work because you end up in a tsunami. So politics just go to prove it's always will be that the greatest unintentional comedy on earth are politics. So first up, let's go back to 1932, where the Australian government officially declared war on something that was infiltrating the farmers in Western Australia. The ex-soldiers came home after the war and they were struggling with their new land. And one of the biggest problems was the invading army of 20,000 emus, trampling their wheat crops. So the farmers decided they're going to call the Minister of Defense, Sir George Pierce, with a brilliant idea: fight fire with fire. Hey, the government actually agreed and sent in soldiers from the Royal Australian Artillery armed with 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds to battle the enemy. And who's the enemy? Emus. Believe it or not, they were going to go to war, full military defeat, and the emus, but the emus turned out to be a tactical genius. They scattered into small groups, zigzagging to avoid bullets, and after a month of failed ambushes and public mockery, the military withdrew. And in disgrace, the government was embarrassed, having lost a war against an enemy that couldn't even fly. So, Doug the neighbor, here's one for us. Let's go down the road to 1920s here in the United States for Prohibition, when people couldn't have a cocktail. So, of course, it didn't stop people from drinking. And what did the bootleggers do to get around the law? They were stealing huge quantities of industrial alcohol, the type of alcohol that they use for making paint. But they found a recipe to make booze out of it for their speakeasies. Well, there was a lot of frustration that the grand moral experiment was failing, and but the government came up with a crazy solution. They had an idea. So in 1926, the Coolidge administration ordered companies that make industrial alcohol lethal by adding poison, including deadly methanol. The logic's simple. The booze might kill you, people stop drinking it. They didn't. The bootleggers just try to find a way to remove the poisons, then make their alcohol. But by the time Prohibition ended, the government's own poisoning program was responsible for an estimated 10,000 deaths. Hey, the government tried to enforce a law to protect public moral and ended up becoming a mass murderer. Now, our third exhibit, let's go to the border of Greece and Bulgaria in 1925. For this movement, it provides international relations can literally go to the dogs. The conflict was called the War of the Stray Dog. Now, the reason why they called this was because a Greek soldier ran across the border chasing his runaway dog. Well, the soldier on the Bulgarian side shot and killed the soldier. and all things out of control faster than a squirrel and a double espresso happened. Instead of treating it like a tactical border incident, the Greek government, led by General Theodoros Pandaris, issued an ultimatum. And then they invaded Bulgaria to occupy the town of Petrich. The situation got so tense, the League of Nations had to step in like a frustrated parent to break up a couple fights between two kids. They condemned the Greek invasion. They ordered a withdrawal. They forced Greece to pay compensation to Bulgaria. In the end, Greece was a worldwide joke, all because the soldier couldn't keep his dog on the leash. Hey, if you're enjoying this masterclass of government screw ups, do us a solid. Smash the like button and subscribe, and let us know in the comments of what's the most hilarious political blunder you've ever heard of, because I know you have them. So whether losing wars to birds, turning alcohol into poison, or starting invasions over the runaway dog, governments have proven one thing: they are the undisputed champions of unintended comedy. So it's comforting, really. It shows you that no matter how high the stakes, there's always room for a level of stupidity. No, no, excuse me here. No high, no, excuse me. This part chokes me up because it's just too great. So it's comforting, really, it is, to show that no matter how high the stakes, there's always room for a level of stupidity so profound, it's basically an art form. And we just got to sit by and enjoy it. So, yeah, you just got to look at it. Everybody takes themselves too serious. They want to say, oh, I'm this, I'm that. Well, yeah, what you are, you're stupid. You don't think things through. And if you really want a proper answer, why don't you go down to the local elementary school and talk to the sixth grade class? I'm sure they have a better answer than what you come up with. So, Doug, what's going on in your world after I gave this little brief analogy of governments at their finest?
TK, so good to see you. Yes, have you got your Dr. Pepper there? I've got mine right here.
Right
And
here, man.
that was a
I
nice
get,
little rant there.
yeah, hold
Very
on.
interesting.
I'm choking up here. I got to get my Dr. Pepper in. I tell you what, I read that the first time and I was just going, I hope I can keep a straight face. I hope I can keep a straight face.
Well, so good to see you. This being our 84th podcast.
Yeah.
And we did and your story there about the emus in Australia. Hopefully, Kevin the Magnificent Computer Dude can post a picture of what an emu looks like, because I haven't seen a picture of them in a long time. I know what they are. They're big, big birds. They're like big
Oh,
birds.
yeah, yeah. And
Post,
remember back in the 70s, there was the big financial windfall was having an emu farm. Uh,
yes, yes,
because the feathers are so light and soft, they had a commercial use for them.
right,
But
right. And then they had big legs, so the chicken wings or the chicken legs would be pretty huge. They'd feed an army.
yeah, 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 it would be. Yeah, just give me a drumstick of an emu. Oh, that'll hold us.
That'll hold a family.
Yeah.
Well, yes. And so, this being our 84th podcast, and very good rant on your part concerning the aspect of government, I kept thinking of Will Rogers, the great comedian, and his great quote about government, about how he could either be elected to Congress or be a stand up comedian. But I'm repeating myself.
Yeah. The other thing, another phrase that he said, paraphrase is, uh, every time Congress makes a law, it's a joke, and every joke that they make is a law.
God bless Will Rogers. He passed away in 1935. Now, I also have a video that I sent to you, and we can post, that was concerning our 80th podcast. I'm very happy that we've gotten to a point of 80 podcasts, and we'll have Kevin post that. Hi, I'm Doug the Neighbor, and my pal TK Irish, the blonde guy, and I do a podcast called Camp Kennerk Podcast. It's on YouTube, Spotify, X, and Facebook. And we've done a bunch of podcasts, and I'm here to help you remember how many podcasts we have done. Remember, put your thinking cap on. You ready? 77, 78, 79. One more time. 77, 78, 79. I'm Doug the Neighbor. That video, it's there on social media, our 80th podcast. But let me just shake my Austin snow globe here. All right, shake that and see what we got to start our podcast for today. Now, yesterday was a very, very interesting day. It was May 5th. Okay, May. Oh, excuse me. Oh, let me get a little sip of my Dr. Pepper.
You sure that's Dr. Pepper? I've never seen Dr. Pepper that color. You holding out on me, buddy? Go ahead.
No,
It's
I
okay.
got it right here. I just have to warm
Okay,
up with my whistle with that. Anyway, yesterday was Cinco de Mayo. Okay, and we'll get to that, but May 5th, May 5th. Okay. Now, so it's our double day, and we've created this situation, been doing it for a while because it's 5-5 double day. But yesterday was kind of interesting. We got two stories for you. I went to the Walmart to get some new shoes. Here, where's my new shoes here? Can you see my new shoes?
You're gonna fall back, Douglas.
Yeah, I went to get some new shoes at the Walmart because I just chew them on up, and I keep a good pair of Skechers for when I'm styling. And I went to the Walmart and I saw the size I wanted, and I looked at them. I started looking around. They don't have a seat or a bench to sit down to try on your new shoes.
Ambidextrous. They want to see how ambidextrous you are, Douglas.
Yeah, I had to go back. I had to go back to the TV section, the audio section back there, and go behind the counter where the guy said, "Hey, can I sit on your stool to put my shoes on?" You know, he said, "Sure, of course." And but they had no place to try on your shoes, see if they fit. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is, well, if I'm getting new shoes, I need new socks. Get a dozen.
It's an ensemble, Douglas. It's called an ensemble.
Yeah, an ensemble. Yes. Okay. So what was interesting at the Walmart, all the athletic socks were behind a glass case. Not hanging on the bag, hanging on the thing, but glass case. So I'm looking around and trying to figure it out. And then this Walmart employee came around and I asked her to unlock it. And I said, "Thank you very much. This is what I need, a dozen of the white ones." She said, all of a sudden, she says, "Well, when you go check out at aisle number 1, they'll be there." Is there a black market in athletic socks?
Hey, down in Austin, it's very possible there could be a black market for white socks. I mean, think about the parity. Would you rather have a white market for black socks or a black market for white socks?
I don't know, but I just thought that was kind of cool or interesting. Let's just say interesting. Mm-hmm. So, and make sure that Kevin posts a picture of basic set of white socks. That's all they were, so. And then today, I went to get my hair cut from Kelsey over at Gents ATX down in Sunset Valley off Brody Lane there. And she always does a great job. Makes me look like Brad Pitt and very presentable. Don't you think I look like Brad Pitt?
Oh yeah. Especially from the behind.
Yeah, especially
like when you're walking out the door.
But Kelsey over at Gents ATX, call her up and get yourself a really good haircut. But anyway, that was today. All right, but yesterday was 5-5 double day. So I've got some interesting facts concerning 5-5, May 5th. Okay. All right. Now, first off, it's the 125th day of the year. So that's kind of interesting. And in 1821, Napoleon died at St. Helena. He died.
The volcano?
No, no, St. Helena is an island in the Atlantic where they sent him after the Battle of Waterloo. You see, they
Oh,
sent him to Elba, then he escaped. So they sent him down to St. Helena in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and he was there for like 6 years, from 1815 to 1821, and he died on May 5th today.
was
Or,
that like an extended stay program, like an all-inclusive place that, he got to stay there for 6 years?
Not exactly.
So it wasn't a Club Med or anything.
Not really. Okay. And his desire was, since he was an emperor, they thought maybe that he would retire to a cottage in the Cotswolds there in England. But they had a
Hmm.
better plan for him to send him down to St. Helena in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, thousands of miles away because he'd caused so much damage in Europe. That was 1821. He passed away on May 5th. Okay. And of course, in 1862, the Battle of Puebla in Mexico
Hmm.
was the Mexicans against the French in the Battle of Puebla, and the Mexican army was led by General Zaragoza, and that is why they celebrate Cinco de Mayo, because the celebration of the Battle of Puebla, Cinco de Mayo,
Mexico beating the French.
being the French. Then they beat the Spanish a couple of years later in the September 16th. I can't remember.
16.
Yes, it says yes. Okay. Now, here's some other things that happened on the 5th of May. In 1891, Carnegie Hall opened up in New York City. And now I've been to Carnegie Hall. It's a grand old structure, beautiful stage, acoustics, the whole thing. And the first performance there was an orchestration by Tchaikovsky.
The real Tchaikovsky.
The real Leopold Tchaikovsky. Yes, yes. So that was 1891, the opening of Carnegie
Now, did
Hall.
you have tickets for that?
Yeah, not for that particular one. I'm not that old. I read about it.
Yeah, okay.
Now, here's something of interest on a sports note. In 1904, Cy Young, the pitcher, was pitching for the Philadelphia Athletics when they were in Philadelphia against the Boston Americans. Now, Boston changed their name a couple of times before they ended up being the Red Sox. And it was the first perfect game. No
Yes.
runs, no hits, no nothing,
Yeah, Cy Young, I mean, if you're a student of baseball, and especially the pitcher, there's a reason why there's an award named after with Cy Young involved.
Yes,
Because
yes, yes, yes. So that was 1904. 1904
yes,
on May 5th. Okay. Now, one more thing here. There were a couple more things here. In 1961, and I actually remember this, Alan Shepard was the first man into space. They just
yes,
put him in that little capsule and shot him into space, and he went around the he just I don't think he orbited the Earth. He just shot him from Florida and shot him up and he landed. But he was the first person into space.
yeah, who broke the atmospheric sphere?
Yes, yeah, the first man into space. So, but just the fear and trepidation because it never worked before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, Alan, want to do this? It's a Roman candle. We're going to light it and see what happens. What do you think, Al? What do you think, Al? Yeah. And
Yeah,
then after that was John Glenn because he went around the world 3 times.
yes.
But kudos to Alan Shepard because he was the first guy. You know.
That's you know, that's called a hero because he took something that no one had any idea what the outcome was going to be. And they convinced him. That's the deal. That's salesmanship there, Douglas. Hey, Al, let's try this. Come on, it'll be fun.
Fine line between bravery and crazy. Hey, Al, what are you thinking? Right now or in a couple of minutes?
Yeah. By the way, don't tell your wife about this because it'll be a surprise.
Give me a surprise. You can call her from space. Hey, hon, guess what I'm doing? Oh, you over at the 7-Eleven? Not exactly. And if you look up, I'll wave. All right, so that was 1961, and I do remember that, and it was kind of scary. The Mercury 7 astronauts, that was so cool to see those guys because they were the best and the brightest, and that was so cool. Now, more along our line, in 1895, May 5th is considered National Cartoonist Day. Now, we like cartoons, but all the cartoonists, animators, filmmakers, animators, they have their own day, and it's May 5th.
Well, that's
Because,
great.
because in 1895, the New York World, a newspaper at the time, ran a cartoon called The Yellow Kid. The Yellow Kid. And so that's why National Cartoonist Day is today, or yesterday, May 5th, because it was the first time, and it was a colored cartoon in a black and white newspaper. So that was kind
And
of,
just imagine what those guys would think if they saw what their careers had turned into 100 years later.
and all the movies and all that, and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff, so, and Walt Disney's career, the Mickey Mouse, that sort of stuff. Now, on a sad note, this is a really sad note, okay? In 2001, a man named Clifton Hillegass, Hillegass, Clifton Hillegass, passed away.
Okay. I
And
didn't I
he
didn't know him personally, but
Not per, but you see, we all, any of us in our generation who got through college, he invented Cliff Notes.
oh yes. Yes. The Bible of every literature class.
Cliff Notes. So there should be a statue to this guy somewhere.
Yeah.
TK, that's what I got for today. Right now, I'm going to have some popcorn from Maxine up in Landers, Wyoming, Cracker Box popcorn. I'm going to have a little piece of popcorn. I've got my Dr. Pepper right here. That's what I got for today. Play ball.
Aaron Go Brawl.